Cybernation Uncensored.
Hey, we're officially live. Everyone can see us and hear us now. Let's check the mics. Everyone say hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey, chat. Let us know if anyone's muted or frozen. We'll get that fixed right away. Cool. It looks like we got a handful of people here nice and early. Hey, Stiletto Assassin. Shout out to April of Modifius Entertainment and Initiative Order. And everyone else that made it in here nice and early. Alex, part of our promotion manager. Part of our promotion team there is promotion manager. And yeah, this is our Fallout gameplay. We were doing weekly every Friday on the Mad Queen's YouTube channel. It evolved after, I think, 16 plus sessions over there to our channel. She had to take care of some life stuff, and we were lucky enough to get a new player and keep the team going and keep the story growing, and that's where we're at. We kind of had another session 0 when we moved over to the Cybernation Uncensored channel and continued from there. That's why you'll see today, I think we're on session 9, I believe, but ultimately I think it's part of like a 20-something session campaign if you take it back to the Mad Queen channel. And I recommend doing that, checking out all the previous VODs and really check out all the NPCs and plot twists and just fun that the team has been through. They've met a lot of factions and there's a lot going on in Florida. I'll give a little recap before we dive into today's session. But before I do that, let's do like we always do. Let's go around the table. Everyone introduce yourself. Let people know where they can find you online and what you got going on, and then introduce your character as well. Jay, you want to start it off?
Oh, hey. What can I say? It's Jay. Casual. You can find me on all social media at Just2Casual, doing casual things. I also am on so many different channels doing all kinds of campaigns. I'm doing another Fallout series over on the Initiative Order with Stiletto Assassin, as well as doing a fantasy experience on the Red Hair Inn through D&D. I'm working on an expansion, a exploration of Ravenloft, specifically Lamortia, the domain of Snow and Stitch Flesh, with She's the Ancient's author, Beth the Bard. You can check out that information at lamortia.com. And I'm also creating an anime ttrpg experience, 5e compatible, but also some other systems are involved in that. So all that information on deepbreathrpg.com for anime ttrpg experience. And I am the super mutant, Yasuke Kenpachi. I am the samurai of the Wasteland, though I have given up my code to save those that are less fortunate. I am now the Ronin of Florida.
Nice, well put. Darth.
Hi, I'm Darth Cyan. I do a lot of Fallout stuff, usually over on YouTube, but I'm on most of the socials as well. It's all down there if you want to check it out. I do loads of camp building, loads of gameplay, that sort of thing. New stuff as well, cover other Bethesda games too, and a few other games on the side as well. So do check it out if you're interested. And I'm playing Sprocket today, Mr. Handy, who has recently ventured out into the Wasteland for the first time after very, very loyally following the instruction to remain in a garage where he was assisting his former owner, who was a mechanic, and has now found himself swept up into the troubles and tribulations that Florida is going through.
Oh yeah, very well put. Brandon.
I am Brandon Perkins, also known as DM_Brando, and I do lots of different things, streaming tabletop RPGs around the internet, and also voice acting and writing. I'm currently working on a novel called Sola Harvest of Souls. That's spelled Sola, Sola. And it's on royalroad.com for free. It's a cyberpunk novel full of twists and turns. It's got some gore, got some profanity, all the good stuff. So feel free to check it out. Once again, absolutely free on Royal Road, Sola Harvest of Souls. And very soon we'll be doing a live reading of that right here. And sometime in the near future, probably in a couple of weeks, because life is super busy, but figuring it out. And today I'm playing Jerry the Ghoul, the ghouliest ghoul you've ever met. I'm a merc, and I want to go see Nuka World someday. Someday before I finally leave this mortal coil. Of course, it's been about 200 years, so, who knows when that's going to happen.
Very true. Yeah, and well put. And I'm looking forward to the live reading of your book too. I can't wait to schedule that out and get that going. It'll be fun. Yep, and I'm the overseer here. I'm GM Rob Mulligan. I'm also the founder of Cybernation Uncensored, where we have tons of live streams, gameplay, tutorials, series, lots of new shows coming. Starting in October, we have like 3 or 4 new game masters joining the brand, running streams aside from the multiple teams I run. And then some other fun new series, interview shows and showcase shows, review shows. I think some live gameplay coming up maybe after October. But just lots of expansions for Cybernation Uncensored. We recently took on a community manager, a brand manager, a promotion manager, which I see Alex here in chat. What's up? Shout out to Alex. And yeah, just been expanding left and right nonstop, hitting the ground running. I mean, we've been going now for a couple years with the brand, and it's always expanding and growing. But in recent times, we've really hit the ground running, like I said, and just been expanding all kinds of gameplay and streams. So I would appreciate the follow and the subscribe here on Twitch for all the live stuff. Subscribe over on YouTube for all the VODs. And then if you're checking us out in podcast form, please consider leaving us a 5-star rating. That would be super helpful. Also shout out to Purple Fire Drake, already rewarding the team with a -2. She must know that the team is in the thick of it right now, and yeah, we'll see how that turns out. But yeah, before we get on into the gameplay and I do a little recap, I do want to give a shout out to my supporters on Patreon. All of you are the fuel on my fire. You know, I put out all this content and I push streams and all this stuff almost daily because I have a passion for it. Obviously, I love this stuff, but it's absolutely validated by your support and love. It means so much to me to have you as part of my Patreon and just throwing them bucks at me, making it rain, keeping me dancing. I love that shit, so let's keep it going. I plan on creating so much more content. So with you as the fuel on my fire, it's not stopping. And like I said, I can't thank you enough. It means so much. So shout out to Kevin Moreno, Joseph Holder, Naomi Madlass, William Huddleston, Jamie Minch, just scroll down. John Erfurt, Leaded Coffee, Chris Anderson, Matt James, aka GM Reservoir Panda, Roten, aka Renegade 420, Revolver Gray, Samurai Max, Steve Barr of Sirenscape. Sirenscape's an official sponsor here at Cybernation Uncensored. Zeno, Zach Capricious Nature, Cyber Smiley Raven, Andy Stretton, Copious Salt, Derek Lawrence, Daniel Terry, Alex Maxwell, Nicholas King, Tracy Goodwin, aka Stink Palm, Igor, Chris Callies, and Night City Nasty. Thank you all so much for being part of my Patreon. Yeah, so like I said, this team has been through a lot. Check out all the VODs. You can check them out on the Cybernation Uncensored YouTube as well as the Mad Queen YouTube. I'll give a little recap right now. A lot to unpack here. Like Sprocket said, it all started with him being in his mechanic shop working with his owner, but ventured out into the wasteland after the owner never came back from a trip, kind of when the bombs dropped, right? When shit hit the fan. And he was just posted up in the shop waiting when Jerry the Ghoul, and at the time Mad Queen playing a raider, stumbled across Sprocket. Sprocket took him to the shop, tried to find the owner, who was dead, ghouled out on the ground, had to fight some ghouls, met some other wastelanders, agreed to get paid to escort them back to their encampment up north. They did that, came across some all kinds of encounters, radiated creatures, some cannibals, ended up at Disney World, where these travelers took off their leathers and put on robes to join the rest of their community, where the team saw they had some Mickey Mouse ear scaration on their backs. They're basically a Mickey Mouse cult, House of Mouse over there in Disney World. They had a missile silo, access to this big missile. The team kind of took the circuit board out of it, telling them they would head out into the world to get a circuit board to fix it for them, but wasn't sure if they wanted to leave that missile, functional in the control of this cult. They weren't sure which faction they wanted to side with or what was going on in Florida just yet. So they ventured out, took the circuit board, and then ran into all kinds of other stuff, like a super mutant mind-controlling ghouls with this device that they ended up liberating all the ghouls and took some of them back to the vault where they posted them up, where I guess the super mutant was having the ghouls take people from and turning them into ghouls from this vault. Then they ended up finding the Underground Railroad, now being was used for transporting synths and stuff like that, but now kind of in the underground for radiated creatures and beings and stuff down here that are maybe not so keen to hang out in Miami or in the area, because Northside Kings, these raiders, Richter, the king of the Northside Raiders, was kind of controlling the north side of Miami, the south side being controlled by the Brotherhood of Steel, with Paladin Horatio. Aside from that, up at the USSA launch pad, you've got the Enclave with some chemical called Clean Wave that's supposed to take out all radiated creatures and things, but it's destroying everything. It's scorched all of Central Florida with this black ick sort of stuff. And yeah, that's the gist of it. There's a lot more to that. Trust me, check out the VODs to get all the juicy details. But ultimately, the team, they agreed with the Brotherhood of Steel and Paladin Horatio to get back to the north side of Miami, the Northside Kings, kind of deal with Richter, who thought that the team was on his side, to kind of fuck with the Brotherhood of Steel, possibly send them off on a goose chase up north to take out the Enclave so the Raiders could attack South Miami, was Richter's kind of thought and process. But the team came back agreeing with Brotherhood of Steel to take out the Northside Kings, so they assassinated Richter. Most of the Raiders just started in a panic, scrambling. I think the warehouse even caught on fire, the huge catapult and all their supplies. So that's just a raging fire now, as the north side of Miami is in a bit of a panic. Some of the people are scattering and screaming and running, but a lot of the Raiders are just kind of disbanding now that they don't have their leader. Some are fighting, as the team had to take out a couple. But for the most part, they disband those Raiders as the Brotherhood of Steel opened up the border to allow them back into South Miami. That's kind of right where we left off. But the idea there was to then now partner with the Brotherhood of Steel, take them up to the Enclave or send them up to battle the Enclave. And the team kind of has some decisions to make. Like now, yeah, we've taken care of the Northside Kings, assassinated Richter. They're kind of disbanding now, so Miami's a little bit free on the north side, or should be soon, hopefully. But now you got the Brotherhood of Steel heading up to deal with Enclave. The team's like, well, maybe while they're there, we can get the cult to bomb them. Maybe we can take out what's left here. Or maybe what's left of Brotherhood of Steel will just end up taking over Miami. Maybe it's just something that Florida's going to have to deal with. Maybe we'll go up and help Brotherhood of Steel deal with the Enclave. Maybe I don't know. There's just a lot of options here. It just seems that we're kind of at that point. We're kind of at that pivotal point. So let's get back into the game. Let me get some Sirenscape sounds going. Shout out to Sirenscape, like I said, an official sponsor of Cybernation Uncensored. Let's see here. We'll get some interior sounds going, and shout out to Brandon, part of our team, also part of Cybernation Uncensored. Been a buddy and a friend here. We stream a lot of games. He's been overseer in some Fallout. He's a player in my Sirenscape weekly stream for Cyberpunk Red, and obviously he's here with Team Wasteland. But not just a voiceover actor, but he made the overlay, which is very cool looking for the ghoul thing. Plus, he made the sound sets that we're using, custom sound sets for Sirenscape. So, shout out to Brandon. Thanks so much, dude.
Thank you.
All right, cool. We got the sounds going, and it's like I said, shit just kind of hit the proverbial fan as the big warehouse of supplies, the catapult, everything is just on fire. You hear explosion noises coming from the warehouse every few seconds from artillery or fuel. The flames are now coming out of that warehouse that you've exited as smoke is just billowing out. People are running in a panic, screaming and running around. The border has opened. You notice that the border opened, and a bunch of the Brotherhood of Steel. You see the... I think I accidentally switched it over to combat. You see them actually kind of, step in past the border to allow it to open. It was a bit intimidating as you see a bunch of those sort of soldiers coming in with their power armor. You see some of the bots behind them, but you also see some of the generals back there that were kind of talking with Horatio. You can see Horatio standing back there as they all kind of gesture towards your group to make your way back into South. They kind of have opened the border and made this path in the middle of all this chaos for you to travel back south. But you're standing in the middle of the street. You're kind of on the north side, right at the border, as people are running around crazy, and fire is billowing, and explosion, and people are running, and I'll let you three take it from here.
Well then, that was suddenly dramatic.
Yeah. Guess we're done here, Just should we just walk out?
We have accomplished our task.
I think this would be a good time to beat a hasty retreat before anybody figures out what's going on. These raiders seem pretty disorganized right now, but probably good to get out of here before they've kind of figure out what our involvement was.
Good idea. Let's go.
Yeah, and you do that. You make your way. They've kind of opened that border for you to go. And shout out to Rob in chat saying Brotherhood is still very dangerous. You go first. And yeah, one thing to explain is, in the previous session, you'll see on the VOD that the team has met Paladin Horatio Reyes, who's a little more flexible with his community than his uncle, the Elder, who came in kind of killing everyone and taking over South Miami and fucking shit up, as Brotherhood is still do, just kind of dominating the scene, right? But he's a little more flexible. He's trying to make a kind of a new world for Brotherhood of Steel, at least down here. And he's got a bit of a segregated thing going on in South Miami, where the South Miami it has its own like little town with some super mutant schools, some bots that haven't been reprogrammed or sanctioned into the Brotherhood, and yeah, they're kind of letting this sort of segregated thing going on. So that's kind of why the Brotherhood of Steel was willing to talk to this team. I mean, they did kind of send a human messenger to bring the Clean Wave sample into them to kind of grease the wheels and let them know, hey, we want to talk to you about this, but yeah, we're not your typical team that Brotherhood would talk to. And they kind of had to work their way in, which they did. And, that's how we kind of got into this situation. But so far the team has done everything that they've said, and their Brotherhood seems happy. Horatio Reyes seems happy with it. But yeah, he gestures you over as you come back, as he's kind of putting on the rest of his power armor. The rest of the soldiers are kind of gathering. You see them kind of going in formation to different sections of this part of town. As you see, bots lined up. You can see different vehicles and tank-esque style vehicles lined up. Vertibirds all kind of taking flight. You can see down beachside some of the ships kind of pulling out from port. But Horatio walks up. Hey, great job. It looks like you were successful. I can see that you've removed the head of the snake, and things are falling apart up there.
Quite literally remove the head of the snake.
Oh.
Indeed.
Oh, I see that. And then he kind of takes a notice to Yasuke, who's still... I believe, didn't Yasuke still have the head as a trophy?
Yeah, Yasuke has the head as a validation of proof.
Yeah, Horatio takes notice. Okay, I see that. Very nice. Feel free to discard that at any moment here. That's a little offsetting. But well done. If you would come with me, let's discuss plans as we're departing. I just want to get you into the fold. He starts walking back into the big military reserve base that's down there in South Miami.
Yasuke follows.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Nice. Yeah, you all follow him into his base, basically the old Homestead Air Reserve base, just off South Miami that they've taken over. You've been here a few times before as you go in, but this time going down a couple different hallways into what seems like a big sort of conference combat room, a planning room. When you enter, there's about 20 or 30 people running around in here. You see maps. You just hear the instant overwhelming chatter of numerous people talking at the same time. But you enter in, and again, you see some of those maps that you saw on Horatio's desk, where you can see the USSA launch pad and some planning. You see the map of Florida, and you see, I think it was Sprocket or someone that noticed on the map earlier of Central Florida, they even have like the USSA base circled, some planning. And then over here, you see a little circle around Disney World, like they might have taken notice to that or something. I can't remember who had the perception check last that noticed that, but you see that again. They're, it's part of their plans or something obviously is going on, but Horatio takes you in as people are planning, and he says, so we have a slight thing we need to discuss right now, and that is, you've accomplished what we've discussed and planned, and like I told you, is when this is done, obviously we're departing immediately. We need to move before Enclave gets any word of what has happened here in Miami. We don't need any preparations on their part, but once we get there and we take care of this and we get back, we're at the point now where you need to make a decision. Do you want to stay in our community, work for me? And I assure you, you'll be safe. Good jobs, good pay. I'll put you up in your own spot in our part of town. Or you're free to part ways. You can move on freely. Like I said, you'll have a safe departure from our community for what you've done. You have my word. And you can have your choice. Each one of you can have your choice of one of three things. Some weapons and armor, or some armor, some weapons, or some supplies in the form of like fuel or any other supplies you might need. But each of you three can make that decision when we get back. I know that this travel is going to take us, at least almost a half a day to get up there. Just judging by what reconnaissance has brought back, we're probably going to be engaged in this battle for 2 to 3 days, 3 to 4 days tops, depending on exactly how prepared the Enclave is for an assault like this. But I would like you to travel with us. I'd like you to travel with me personally. You don't have to engage in the battle, but I'd like you nearby just in case there's any other information or help that we might need from, well, a team such as yourself.
Well, it sounds like he's setting up for a siege up there. We were expecting one.
Oh, yeah. Our plan is to go in, take out as many as we can on our way in to get control of this clean wave. If we have to destroy everything in the process, so be it. But the ultimate goal is to take control of this tech, bring it back to us down here in Miami, and then send word to the rest of the Brotherhood. I need to let my uncle aware of this at that point. But yeah, we can't let them have control over this.
Wow. Perhaps we should take a moment to discuss our options then.
Feel free to do that. Just please be quick. Feel free to step into the break room if you want to have some time. I'm going to go over plans with the team, but we're looking to depart in the next 10 minutes, so please.
So we best make our mind up quite quickly then.
He turns back with the rest of the soldiers with him, guards. You see some scribes kind of follow behind him, taking notes as he's going over some of the maps and just delegating orders as you're able to kind of walk into this sort of side room that looks like it might have been a break room. You can even, see some remnants of drinks and snacks and things like maybe that's kind of where they take their little personal time, but no one's in here. You kind of have the room to yourselves.
I know we were planning on traveling with them part of the way, but not all the way like he suggested. How do you...
We should go with them to ensure that no one claims clean wave.
I totally agree.
Yes. I don't think it would be any better in the Brotherhood's hands than in the Enclave's. From what we've seen, though this Horatio might not be perhaps as quick to use it as some, he's not in charge of the entire Brotherhood, clearly.
That's right. And when his uncle gets a hold of something like Clean Wave, people like us ain't gonna be safe.
Definitely not. We were thinking of visiting our friends over at Disney World whilst this was all going on. Do you think we're going to be able to get over there? Do you think the Paladin doesn't seem too keen on letting us out of his sight?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll be able to give him the slip at some point, or maybe we'll be able to just tell him, hey, look, we'll just follow you part of the way. Then we got to make our own detour. Maybe we'll meet up with you again at the destination. I don't know. Maybe they'd go for it.
Well, I think we need to go that way anyway. I suspect he's going to insist, and it's what we want to do, so... If we set off with them, it's probably a good plan. We can sort of judge whether or not to ask to leave, or if it looks like he's not going to agree to that, we might have to slip off on our own.
Okay. We'll try talking to him first.
Yeah, okay. I think we should get ourselves ready to set off then. I don't imagine he'll appreciate any tardiness.
Then let it be.
Okay then.
Okay, so I guess we'll come out of the break room then at this point.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, after a few moments you come out. Still, they're all frantically planning, gathering up things. But you notice they're starting to pack up some of the maps, rolling them up in their sort of travel tubes, and some crates being closed with other sort of devices and things that you don't recognize. But it looks like they are packing up and gathering their things.
Okay. Hey, so we was talking, and we'd like to travel with you part of the way. But we were hoping to make a little detour. Is it possible for us to make our own little detour and then meet you back at the destination after the fact? So we could still be there for the fight. It won't take long. I mean, it might be an afternoon. You know what I mean?
Look, I don't know exactly what you have planned, but the severity of this mission would require you to... I'd prefer you to at least be at the base at the point of attack. We're setting up a base outside of the USSA base, and look, I need you to travel with our troops. You can stay at the base. I know you may not want to engage, but just for safety reasons, I need to account for where you're at all times. Once this finishes, like I said, you have my word. We'll take you back to Miami, gear you up, fuel whatever you need, or you can stay with us. You need to branch off, do a side travel, then come back, that's fine. But if you can deal with that at that time, it's just I'd feel much better. And Jerry, why don't you give me let's do I guess charisma. Yeah, I guess a speech survive. Yeah, just do speech. Yeah, let's just do general speech charisma. This is going to be a difficulty of 3. Keep in mind, you do have some -2s in chat here. It looks like you got 3 rewarded.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want... Or 4 altogether.
Four.
Yeah, so keep that in mind. This is a difficulty of 3. He seems very set on you just traveling, being at their base while they attack. It sounds like, you guys are right. Like, he does kind of want to keep you guys under his thumb, or at least know where you are at all times until all this is settled, and then he'll feel much better than at that point giving you all your freedom and stuff. It feels a little like that, but you do have a chance, a little gift of gab. Jerry's good at that. Difficulty of 3. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to use my luck instead of my charisma stat, so I'm going to spend a luck point to do that.
Okay.
And I'm going to use... Should I use 1 action point, or should I use 3 in order to get the 2 extra die rolls? What do you think?
Might as well go for it.
All right. So that means we're down to 3 action points. Not popping up. Oh, there it is. Went behind the window. Luck, speech, 4 dice. And it's not a tag skill. All right, cross your fingers.
Drum roll.
We got
2 successes.
Okay.
Right, and I forgot to mention any plus or -2s, but that's okay.
You can use -2s at double the cost after. If you have 4 of them, you would potentially use all 4 to get 2 -2s. Would that be enough to put one of those as a success to bring you to 3? At that
2
point, it'd be worth it.
-2s. Two
Yeah.
-2s would do it. That would put us at 3.
Okay, then you could use all 4. Like I said, after the roll, you can always use them at double the cost as my little homebrew when it comes to luck or well, in Fallout's case, these -2s. And look, there's some more. Raven just rewarded the King's Square. Look, everyone heard this situation you're in, and they're making it rain -2s for the team. So
Okay,
I think you're good.
so I just need, at half the cost, I just need 2 -2s to be able to bring that 12 down to a 10, and that's a success.
Nice, awesome. Then yeah, you do that, and you see Horatio just kind of thinking to himself, and you know what? Okay, I can see this is important to you, Jerry, right?
Yeah, Jerry the Ghoul.
Okay. look, you've come through. This clean wave garbage is exactly how you said. We did our reconnaissance. More importantly, you came through with this whole Richter situation, and it's been a thorn in my side for the longest. So I'm gonna give you more trust. I don't normally do this, but I'm gonna give you the trust. Absolutely, we'll take you as far as you want to go north. We're gonna finish meeting with our camp, set up with the rest of our troops, and make our move. Like I said, this whole situation will probably take us 2 to 3 days, 3 to 4 at most. I imagine 2 to 3 if we're getting the jump on these guys. And yeah, if you could meet us back in Miami, in 3 days at most. That way, even if it takes us 3 to 4, you're here when we get back. We can settle up. Let me know your decision at that point, what you want. If I'll hook you up with the supplies you need or a place to stay and work ongoing. But everything you said, you've come through with. So again, you have my word. We'll travel until the point you want to part, and then you can take care of what you need to take care of. I trust you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. You won't regret it.
Okay. Well, if it's okay with you, I think we're about ready to head out. So you want to gather your things, and let's get to it. And yeah, all of you are able to, you all pretty much already have all your things. You got your weapons from the gate to be able to take care of Richter. Was there anything else, just reminding me, just out of game, just as GM, I don't remember. Did the team leave anything in like the hotel rooms that they were staying at in North Side or in the one South? I think you have everything, right?
I believe
we got all the stuff.
Okay, cool. Then yeah, you're ready to ride out. So yeah, you follow Horatio out with the rest of his troops. Scribes is kind of like little personal entourage. As you go out, you can see that whereas all kind of the land vehicles have already headed out, you see like a just cloud of earth from the Badlands in the distances. This is just trekking north. You can see that he's kind of heading beachside to where you saw all the vertibirds and other sort of carry-all looking vehicles of flight lined up, along with some ships and some bots loading onto that as you see them kind of riding out. But he gets into some of them. Some of the troops get in, start loading into some of these vertibirds and vehicles of flight, and that's what he directs you to do. You're pretty much riding right with Horatio and his immediate entourage, but he takes you into one of them and flies up. I don't know if this might be the first time any of you have been in a vertibird or been able to take flight, but it's a little bit nerve-wracking. I think in the existence you might have. Maybe some of you, obviously, Yasuke, Jerry, may be old enough to know about previous planes. I don't know if in your past life you've ever been able to fly on one. Have you?
That I do have a blank part of my history, so who knows?
Nice. I think, what about Jerry?
Probably. I mean, he led a pretty average life before this all happened, so he might have traveled at some point.
Nice. Well, yeah, then you get on there, and yeah, it's been a while. These are a little bit different than what you remember. It's a different time, but it flies up. Sprocket, completely new to you. Yasuke, that's Yasuke's decision if a memory comes back that maybe he's been in flight before. But you're traveling. You're traveling up north, and the fleet of vertibirds are loud. There's a rumbling, sort of humming in the air surrounding you. As you can barely hear your words over the rumble and buzz of the engine. Horatio just seems wrapped up with his scribes going over plans as you three sit there traveling north. I'll let you discuss things amongst yourself if you want for a moment before you get there.
Fascinating piece of engineering, this particular machinery. I heard about these things, but never had you seen one up close before. Been quite the thing to work on.
Yeah, I've been watching you with your thruster just to see when this thing takes off, if you stay where you are, off the ground as far as you are, or if you shift or something, Anyway.
A little bit. Like I could get that claw and just grab onto one of the handrails with it. Just to stay a bit steady.
What about Yasuke? I saw there was a survival check there.
Yeah, so Yasuke actually does have like a momentary flashback as the sounds of the engines and everything moving and the elevation has like a flash moment of recalling being in a military plane going on a mission, remembering sitting around fellow soldiers, and remembering not wanting to be there, and that sickening feeling before his commanding officer reminds him of the mission and then gives him an injection that calms his nerves, but then fills him with rage for a moment before he's launched out of the plane with a parachute. Then he kind of snaps back, and you can see like the heavy breathing and even a bit of like cold sweat from the amount of nerves that built in from the memory, like almost a shaken feeling for Yasuke in that moment.
Hey, you okay there, big guy?
Yeah. Looked like you left us for a minute there.
I'm remembering my past. I once served, not as a samurai, but as a soldier. No, I am fine.
Are you sure you need a minute? Can I get you something? Do you want something to drink?
No, we have a mission a task to complete. The sooner it is over, the sooner I can rest. Finally. Thank you.
All right.
And you, Jerry, Sprocket, each give me a perception survival. The difficulty of 2.
No luck.
Yeah, you're not really picking up details, but Jerry, you, over the rumbling and talking, like while kind of dealing with Yasuke's situation, you notice a couple of the soldier brotherhood kind of noticing Yasuke, and they're like lean over and they're like talking to Horatio and some of the scribes, like they seem a little bit concerned, but you're not picking up on the details of what's up, but you can tell that they're kind of noticing what you're noticing about Yasuke.
I've got an integral boiler modern built into Sprocket's body, so we can just offer a bit of boiled water there. If Yasuke would care for.
And Yasuke will accept, despite him not wanting it. When he said it, he's like, yeah. And starts mumbling softly just under his breath. I must remember the code. Remember the promise.
You know, one of the soldiers leans into your group. Hey, is he going to be all right?
Oh yeah, he's perfectly fine.
Okay. He seems nervous and then kind of sits back, and now you see he's just eyes on Yasuke the whole time.
First time flying, I think.
Okay. And they definitely seem concerned. But yeah, you know, little tense moment there, but nothing out of the ordinary. Horatio doesn't even seem to get involved. Just one of the soldiers, a bit nervous about Yasuke, and now just staring at him for the rest of the trip. You're not really able to chat about too many other things at this point. But you are getting up to the base as you kind of travel for a couple hours. You notice outside of the window, you can see that you're approaching what looks like some type of makeshift base. You can see some tents, some pop-ups, and some containers and such. Looks like maybe they've already gotten started on building up some type of base outside the USSA. It's far enough out that like you can't see the launch pad from here. It looks like this is obviously some type of like regrouping reconnaissance base that maybe they used when they first came up, and this is kind of their gathering point to make their attack from. But you see they're approaching that as now you can kind of hear them talking to each other about descending and landing, and the rest of the troops should be arriving within the next couple hours. The ones that weren't flying, obviously. But you're approaching. You hear all that.
All right.
So do we have a vague idea where we might be in relation to at Disney World or anywhere else we've been?
Let's do some type of intelligence check here. Give me an intelligence. Intelligence survival works. I would also.
The best option.
Yeah, it's probably the best. Part of me wants to use a little bit of intelligence science. I know it kind of leans into Sprocket's specialty, but it kind of makes sense since he was the one that got to see those maps and saw that they circled Disney World and stuff.
Yeah.
So if everyone wants to give an intelligence survival, but Sprocket, you can do intelligence science because you're kind of calculating based on things that you perceived earlier.
Yeah.
Rest are kind of going on instinct and feel, whereas Sprocket's kind of relying on what he saw.
Which apparently has not been very helpful.
Yeah.
Tag skill or no.
Yeah.
Apparently, geography is not his strong suit.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
Did we get one from Yasuke?
Did it not roll? Oh no.
No.
Got one more time. Come on. 20's not being next to me.
There it goes.
Oh,
Nice.
there you go. Wow.
Nice.
Alright.
And you generate an action point from that. You notice as you're going, Sprocket, it's not really clicking. It's hard to tell where you are. Jerry's not really picking up on it, but Yasuke, you're just getting a natural feel for this. Maybe from your traveling, you're just lucky enough to kind of pick up on it. But it seems like you're literally in between where Disney World would be, like Central Florida, and over by the coast side where this USSA base is for Enclave. So you can kind of assume based on the travel and things like that you're all of walking probably more of a half a day travel to Disney World from this base, and maybe another half a day travel walking in the opposite direction to get to the USSA base.
So then it would take half a full day to go to Disney and back.
Exactly. Yeah.
And they're expected to launch the battle in.
You're
expecting.
Yeah, you're not sure
Okay.
when they're traveling up here to gather. Whenever they make their point of attack, he said it should take anywhere from 2 to 3 days, 4 days at most. But they're estimating 2 to 3 days of battle.
So presumably we could make it back within 2 days, assuming that they aren't ahead of schedule.
Yeah, but I think they're not expecting to see us again until they return home, right?
Yeah,
So
until we get back to Miami. So
We have like a private
could
moment.
just give it
Right.
oh, sorry.
I want to make sure that we are like separate from everyone so that we're not being overheard, right?
Right.
We can say that you land down at the base, and while Horatio and the team are kind of organizing unload and process of organizing, you have a moment to kind of chat off to the side. Yeah.
get out from underfoot a little bit.
Yeah.
We could give it like 2 days, and then they'll be in the heat of battle then. And we should be able to take care of the situation pretty well right then and there. Just stay with the House of Mouse a little bit. What do you say?
My only concern is the more time we give the Brotherhood, the more they can resettle after battle.
If we're late, sure, but if we're too early, then we might not succeed at all.
Yeah, we want to make sure we catch them right in the heat of battle. And everybody's nice and close.
That is of your choice. I am built for battle. The ability to recruit and then reassault. That is of your decision and design.
Okay. My only concern here is what's going to happen when we catch up with our old friends over at the House of Mouse.
Well, we got the circuit board. They'll be happy to see us.
This is true.
However, are we claiming they will attack and try to claim Miami over the Enclave and Brotherhood without malicious intent themselves?
I don't think they're very expansionist.
Nah, there aren't that many of them either. I don't think there's enough of them to seize control of much more territory than they're already holding, to be honest.
Yeah, it's barely enough of them to be able to defend themselves as is.
Even a handful of ants can devour a buffalo if it has fallen.
I guess it would take a while, but yeah, I could see that.
This could happen. On the other hand, we can't necessarily factor in every possible eventuality. And if we are successful, then even if they do, at least they won't have the resources or the access to this clean wave thing that the Enclave have. And I imagine there will not be a great deal left of the Brotherhood's resources to scavenge over by the time things are done. So there'll be a much smaller threat than to the locals than the current situation is.
And we request the mouse to assault the Brotherhood.
And Enclave at the same time, when they're all together in the same place. That's what I'm thinking.
Exactly. My one issue that we may have to be aware of is the House of Mouse may not wish to conform to our timetable. That might take some persuasion.
Well, I think if we explain the full situation to them, they'll probably be receptive. Unless I'm being a little foolish here.
Well, they did seem very keen to remove the Enclave.
Yeah.
I don't recall too well what their feelings towards the Brotherhood were, but I think their independence was more important to them than anything else.
Yeah. Destroying Clean Wave, I think, was a pretty big deal for them, too. And just handing it over to some other baddie isn't going to go over well for them, I'm sure.
This is very true. I think you have a good point here.
Then let us convince the mouse to fight a battle.
With a cat.
2 cats.
Indeed.
And then Horatio kind of steps over from his planning and kind of the chaotic moment of you see everyone kind of running around getting things situated. And, we're making our move in the dead of night. Our forces are going to be here soon. Like I said, we're looking minimum 2 to 3 days. But I've got to get in full war plan mode. Getting into it with my generals. Troops are here soon. Again, thanks for setting this up, making it possible, and feel free to do any of your side travels like you said you needed to take care of. Just please make sure you're back in Miami 3 days tops, and please account for the travel time. When this is done, I'd like to revisit potential plans with you so I can move forward with what we have planned. But I'll see you in 3 days.
Yeah, see you then.
Absolutely.
He turns back, turns back to his troops, and you just see them kind of scrambling, getting things organized. It's a bit chaotic, but as it would be. But yeah, they seem to be wrapped up in their planning, organizing of their troops, vehicles, weaponry. You see maps being pulled out, and as the camp's kind of setting up and getting organized, you three are kind of left with yourselves, able to kind of walk off into the wasteland, kind of make your way towards Disney World as you're planning. As you see the rest of the troops, everyone just kind of paying you three no mind now. Now they're just absolutely focused on what they're doing. And as the team kind of sets off into the wasteland, let's take our 5-minute bio break right here. I know we've got to keep kind of a tight stream today, just so chat knows, because we do have some things we got to take care of. So it's going to be tight, but we're going to take a quick 5-minute break. We'll be right back. I'm going to leave the mics hot, so chat, please don't go anywhere, because when we get back, I'm going to try to streamline some of this, and we're going to hopefully make this campaign come to an end with some cinematic sort of descriptions and scenes where not just myself, but maybe the players can contribute too, and we can kind of see how this story unfolds. So don't anybody go anywhere. We'll be right back. Cool.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to come full circle and see just how things go, seeing as we've been spinning a lot of plates for a while now.
A little bit, right?
It's pretty much ever since we got to the Disney World the first time, it was they asked us to help about getting this missile silo online, and we're like, yeah, we'll totally do that.
Part of me wants to see it, is thinking if Yasuke stayed behind to be with the Brotherhood until you guys get there.
Well, it sounds a bit risky. One of the big problems we had with this initial interaction with the missile silos, we have no idea just how big an area this thing's going to blow up.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why we didn't set it off before, just to nuke the Enclave. Because we weren't sure how big the explosion would be, but it seems like it's a pretty good idea to try and kill two birds with one nuke, so to speak.
Yeah.
It's okay. Yasuke will stay to make sure they all stay there.
Fair enough.
You mean to stay at the battlefield when they go?
Yeah. We'll just stay on the battlefield. Yasuke will keep them there for 3, 6, 9 days. I can keep them there for a whole week if you need me to.
Tie up the whole Brotherhood.
There's nothing more terrifying than a super mean samurai that picks up a minigun off of a vertibird.
Well, I think it's supposed to be a strength of 8 or something like that, isn't it, to be able to do that? So you should be able to just rip it right off.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have a minigun in one hand and a missile launcher in the other hand. And I'll hold my katana in my mouth.
Just kind of whirling around. In case anybody gets too close.
Close. If you're in close, medium, long, extreme, if you exist, you are getting hit.
Yeah. Should be interesting.
So you really want to stay behind? And
I'm thinking I'm trying to consider Yasuke's sincere approach.
yeah,
And assuming that we had enough time to talk, it's the risk is if time takes too long, then it could be worse, because then they could start leaving the battle if it goes too fast, or if you guys take too long to persuade. And so Yasuke's half thought is stay at the battle and keep everyone there as long as possible. And if the battle's over and nothing's happened yet, then Yasuke tries to go one-man army and take out the whole Brotherhood and stall.
yeah, we don't want to nuke you though.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, but
I know radiation and all, but explosions are still.
Oh yeah.
Oh my.
I've considered that, and I was sitting in Yasuke's mind, and it's one of those, he's already given up the samurai code, so technically self-sacrifice is the only way to redeem after you've broken the code.
Oh,
That's why the whole seppuku approach even happens, kind of thing. At least from what he remembers learning. So it's like one of those.
He's almost on the verge of considering himself already dead. Then.
Yeah, it's one of those live as a Ronin or die as a samurai.
I think we would prefer for you to live as a Ronin because
Would
we
be
like you.
preferable
Right, that's usually how it works, right?
You know, don't die.
I don't think we're gonna have much luck with trying to clonk him over the head and drag him out of there, though.
Probably not.
You might actually hurt yourself more trying to hit him in the head.
We'd hurt ourselves trying to drag you.
Pull all the muscles.
Yeah.
Hey, Paladin, can we borrow a Brahmin or two?
Can we just tie a hitch on the vertibird and fly away real quick?
Would you mind airdropping our super mutant friend into Disney World? Brotherhood are leaping out of airborne vertibirds in power armor doing parachuteless jumps as they fly over. Meanwhile, Yasuke's like, power armor?
Yeah, Yasuke's like, what? Y'all wear armor? I got this.
Just goes full Deadpool on everybody.
Oh yeah, we also don't get any items till afterwards because there's one item I do want from the Brotherhood, just one.
Yeah.
I just need power armor boots for the suspension support. Can't really wear power armor, but if I can get like some of those suspension resistors,
brace up those legs a bit. Yeah, I'm trying to think what they might have. Well, I suppose they've probably got plenty of robot upgrade stuff available for Sprocket. He could probably get himself fully kitted out and
just get implanted into an Assaultron.
I was thinking more Mr. Gutsy, which is basically the military version. Get his armor upgraded and possibly, if it's an option, upgrade the laser pistol. But I don't think there really is a good option for that. I don't know.
Not official content-wise, no.
But there's definitely armor options. So.
No, we just upgrade your laser cutter to like a variation of the gamma gun and call it a day.
I should see if we can rig up some kind of big support structure instead of that arm that the laser's on and just put an entire Gatling laser on
Yep.
I was thinking of trying to find a way to put a Gauss rifle on you.
Possibly theoretically, well, Gauss rifle might be hard. You get Mr. Gutsy's in Fallout 3 with plasma on them that functions kind of like a sniper rifle, I think.
That's true.
Quite long range on it.
That's true. Yeah, I remember those guys trying to pick you off from a distance.
Yeah.
I think that was in 3.
Pretty sure they did in 3. They try and do it in all of them, but I think I remember them doing it with plasma in 3 anyway. Can't really remember New Vegas that clearly on that particular front. But...
Yeah.
As long as they don't start trying to imprint Sprocket with the gung-ho Mr. Gutsy personality anyway. That'd be weird. Oh, I don't know. Kind of crazy-ass bot that just wants to charge forward and stick it to the commies. Every available opportunity would be an interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
Although I don't know what the... I suppose I'd have to... If you were playing that character, you'd probably want to spec more into combat skills. But... Mind you, I think I did anyway, so... Don't know. Figure he'd be... Especially if his equipment's what he was always built to use, he'd probably be reasonably skilled at using it.
Yeah.
Well programmed.
Would be
I suppose he's domestic bot, so maybe his software wouldn't be that great.
I don't know. Might be fun to take Liberty Prime's mind and stick it into Mr. Handy and see what happens.
Just make sure you put the firmware update.
Yeah. I can imagine that cause all kinds of weird things to go on. Apart from just having the personality and the tendency to destroy everything in a 50-mile radius or whatever.
Yeah.
But trying to put that amount of potentially information into a much smaller robot might create some interesting malfunctions and weird quirks.
Could be fun.
Mm-hmm. But I'm pretty sure there'll only be one Liberty Prime, though, so a trip to Boston might be a bit... well, actually, it'll be the capital Wasteland, I think, won't it? So it might be a bit far to go.
Yeah. Guess it depends on which game or where we are in the timeline.
Yeah, as to where exactly it'd be.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the background of Liberty Prime was prior to Fallout 3, though, so I think it was probably somewhere buried under the Pentagon.
Probably.
Just there for about 200 years till the Brotherhood picked it up. And then eventually shipped it to Boston.
Yes. As one does. Yes.
Well, they did manage to assemble themselves a massive, massive blimp to travel there. Kind of surprised they didn't make any comments about passing New York, really, given that would be a pretty big milestone on the journey.
Yeah, good point.
I think it's, city that size, that significant, they'd have had at least some commentary to make on it, but they didn't, I don't think. I just don't recall any, anyway.
In what? What are you referring to?
In Fallout 4, when the Brotherhood travel up from the capital Wasteland and DC up to Boston, they'd have to fly probably fairly close to where New York is. So you'd think they'd make some comment on that maybe on occasion, but I don't recall them doing it. Even if it's only like background flavor dialogue in the background that they have occasionally.
They took a weird detour.
Well, they did take a big detour around the glowing sea as well, didn't they? So maybe they were a bit too far inland.
All right. You guys ready to go back?
Yeah, we all agreed Yasuke's going to stay behind and farm for XP while they go do the rest of the main quest.
Oh, no. And we're back, with that being said. So, hey, chat, thanks for hanging out during our little 5-minute bio break. We're back at it. I know the mics were hot, so you were able to kind of be part of the planning and stuff like that. I always enjoy allowing the mics to be hot for chat's sake. But yeah, we're back at it. Let's take it right where we left off. Horatio is wrapped up with his troops, with planning, as you see them organizing all their efforts to, as he said, make their move in the dead of night tonight. It's about midday, we'll say like late afternoon right now, or mid-afternoon. And yeah, I'll let you three take it from there as he gets, Horatio's back working with the troops, and you three are kind of standing there in the middle of the wasteland next to their camp, deciding what to do next. Go for it.
All right, you guys ready to go?
Yeah, I think I've already hit the road. It sounds to me like we'll be arriving at Disney World at about the same time Paladin over there is planning to launch his attack. About half a day from now.
Interesting.
Then we must be quick.
Indeed.
Well,
yeah, since it doesn't take too long to get things organized, we should be good. Should we set off across what I'm guessing is a fairly dusty plain?
Oh yeah, straight wastelands. You've been through these parts of the wasteland before, maybe a little more south of here, but it's all the same. You come across rundown neighborhoods and towns and things like that, but there's no major cities between the launch pad and Disney and Central Florida here. But you do see the city line of what's left of Orlando, and then Kissimmee, and leading into Central Florida, south of Orlando, going into Disney World, as you can kind of see that on the horizon as you make your travel through the wasteland. And we'll streamline that a bit, where the team spends, half of a day traveling through these wastelands. Luckily, no major encounters, maybe a couple creatures here and there that you're able to kind of take out along the way. Nothing major, but as you reach nighttime, you get closer to Disney. And let me, for fun, kind of pull up some of that on the overlay, or on the on the overlay. I'll pull up the map. I'll give you guys access here on the VTT, so you can kind of just get a little visual. But As you approach, you see the rundown Disney World entrance that was once nice, and all of you have been here before, with the exception of Yasuke. But as you kind of travel in, you see the rundown sort of entrance and parkways and pathways, and you get deeper into Disney. You come up to the main guard gate, and as you get there, it opens. As you walk up, it's almost like you were being watched, as the guards kind of take notice to everyone traveling into Disney, and you can see there on the VTT the sort of soldiers from this House of Mouse cult step out from the gate. I'll let chat see them, and I know some of chat maybe wasn't around for the beginning of this campaign to kind of see the awesome cosplay of these soldiers. I love the look of these guys with their Disney masks on. But yeah, the gate opens, and you basically are greeted with these familiar faces, or familiar masks, I should say, as the guards kind of step out from the gate to see you all. And that main guy, the Goofy, kind of steps up from the things. Oh, you made it back! You made it back! Did you get the circuit board that we needed?
Certainly did.
Oh, you have someone new with you. Where's you're missing someone. What happened?
Didn't
you
Yasuke pass by here? Did we say that?
Yasuke has been here before.
Oh,
just
okay.
Not this group.
Oh, that's right. So I notice you don't have Clarice with you. You're down. You have someone new. We've met before. You've been through here, Yasuke. We've met. Welcome back. How are you all together like this now? What has happened? Where's Clarice?
Well, Clarice had some family business to take care of, apparently. But as for how we met, that was quite a story. Yes.
And he looks towards Yasuke, and you've met our friends here, Jerry and Sprocket, and so you've all been traveling together. Did you have luck with the circuit board?
We did indeed.
Oh, very well. Okay, then come on in. Let's get you in and situated. And they kind of escort you into the town. And as you get in through the gates, it's very familiar to you. You kind of come into the big open courtyard. A lot of people hanging out. You're not catching them during prayer time now, so there's no hologram of Mickey Mouse there with them chanting the sort of catchphrases as you've witnessed before coming across this. This is more nighttime, people kind of lounging around, maybe having a little drink, a little food, and just socializing. But as you enter the courtyard, everyone just kind of goes silent and turns towards you and kind of stands up, putting down their drink, talking to each other. You can hear some whispers, and amongst the chatter, you can just kind of hear everyone curious, like, "Oh, it's that team. They're back. That's the task force that went for the circuit board. I think we'll have our missile silo back. This is great news." And you see just an excitement kind of murmuring amongst the crowd there as you enter the courtyard. But Goofy turns towards you. So please, where's the circuit board? How did things go?
Well, I think we've got quite a long story to tell and a bit of an update for you.
Yeah, and we can streamline this. We don't need to role play it out because, like you said, there is a lot that you guys have been through since you left here. So why don't we do this? What all would you tell them? Like, how would you, what would you tell? What would you not tell? How are you guys going to handle this? He's obviously, where's the circuit board? And how have you been? What have you all been through? And, what exactly would you guys talk about or tell them? What would be the process here?
Oh, they're gonna need to know that the Brotherhood is marching on the Enclave at the moment, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we can tell them that. We can tell them that the Brotherhood's probably interested in Clean Wave. And if we're lucky, we can take out both the Brotherhood and Enclave with this nuke.
Yeah.
Nice.
Do the House of Mouse guys have a reasonable level of familiarity with what the Brotherhood has been up to further south?
No. If you remember, they're not as familiar. They're aware of the Brotherhood of Steel, kind of. They haven't really had an encounter with them so much. but they know that they're down there in Miami and South Florida up to something. They're not sure what they're doing down there or what's going on. They've been more focused on Enclave because Enclave has been kind of fucking with them nonstop since being in the area. But I think your approach, if that's what you were to do, I think absolutely they would be accepting of this information and on your side with all of this. Once you explain kind of who the Brotherhood of Steel are, regardless of Paladin Horatio being a bit different, right? An exception to the pack, and he's being a little bit nice because he kind of needs something out of you all, right? But even with that, I think the general idea of Brotherhood of Steel would sit with them in the same way the Enclave does. I think they would be like, yeah, no, fuck them too. The House of Mouse community is we're accepting here, and we no segregation and any of that, and they agree, yeah.
All the farmers outside of Miami that we encountered as well, who were basically in a case of work for the Brotherhood or else kind of situation as well.
Oh well, yeah, they definitely agree that. Whatever they need to do it, they want to take out the Enclave, they want to stop Clean Wave, but if Brotherhood of Steel are involved and they're trying to get control over Clean Wave and they're just kind of like, the same side, different side of the same evil coin, so to speak, they agree. Whatever we need to do then, do you have a plan for this? I mean, you were bringing back the circuit board to take out Enclave. How should we handle this?
Well, last we saw, it looked like the Brotherhood were massing up for something big very, very soon. I would imagine it'll be underway very, very soon if it's not already. So, we might have an opportunity here to rid ourselves of both problems in one go.
Okay, I'm all ears. Whatever. Look, we've been here. We have no idea exactly what's going on out there. Obviously, we've been waiting for you to return in hopes that you were going to return. We're kind of losing a little bit of faith, to be honest with you, over the past couple days. It's been a while, but again, you're here. We trust your judgment. Obviously, we want to use our missile on the Enclave at the USSA base, but if you think the Brotherhood are a bigger threat, we could, I guess, adjust coordinates to Miami. Is that what you're suggesting, or what should we do?
No. The Brotherhood are on their way, marching to fight Enclave right now. We were able to organize that. So, the plan is we give them enough time to be able to get to the base, to the USSA launch pad, where the Enclave are, so that they can start fighting, and then we bomb all of them, all in one fell swoop.
Okay.
Two birds, one very, very big stone.
I love this plan. So you were able to kind of organize them all in one place at the same time.
Yep.
This is great. Okay. When should we do this? Where's the circuit board? Let's do this. What's the plan? You see the rest of the soldiers kind of they all kind of gather around like those main guards and soldiers, and they all kind of like are taking off their character masks and things. They're all leaning in. Like you can tell that the tone is getting real serious. They're all ears and they're making their plan now. We're waiting for you to set the plan.
Well, we're able to get our hands on the circuit board. I have it right here. It should do the job. And when we're ready, we can head down there. Hopefully catch both sides at once. And open up a much more free future for Florida.
Okay. Well, when do you want to do this? Let's do it. When are they all together?
Wow. How long did we think it will take them to get this attack underway?
They plan to attack in the dead of night.
Okay.
Can't be long now.
Let them kill each other for a little bit. And then once we are sure that there's enough troops all there. Maybe tomorrow noon, I'm guessing. Maybe then we launch.
Seems like a good time to me. We can make sure we can get down there, get everything working in the meantime. Well,
Yeah. If that's the best plan, I think we trust you. Yeah, if you can set up the silo, get it ready for launch. I mean, obviously, well, we lost our father, so we'll trust you for all controls. He kind of digs around and then pulls out one of those launch keys. And then one of the other guys pulls out the secondary launch key, one of the ones that Father Michael had. But he hands you both keys. This is what you'll need for launch. So once you can get the circuit in and schedule it or launch it, we trust your judgment. Just let us know once this has happened and if there's anything we need to do.
we should be able to do that. I suppose they left a user manual down there, did they?
No, but Sprocket should be able to figure it out fairly simply. Just a very easy science check for him.
Should be manageable.
Although one I will say you don't want to fail.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Make sure we launch before we detonate.
That's probably a good idea too.
Launch first, detonate
Launch,
a little while.
detonate. Yeah. No, and we can streamline that a bit.
Time between the two.
Yeah, a little bit of time. No, but I think it sounds like a solid plan. Obviously, House of Mouse is all behind it. You know, they're trusting, and you came back with a circuit board. You did what you said, and you're back, and you're even with some information that can help their community and kind of take out both evils that are going on, and even arrange for them to be in the same place at the same time, which worked out. So, they love the idea. Goofy, the rest of the troops, they just say, well, we're gonna, prepare our arms and secure our border and just be ready in case there's any backlash from this. Just in case something goes wrong. But other than that, please carry forth the plan. And with that, you are able to, go underground, make your way back to the control room. And you're easily able to do that. You've got the ghouls pretty much trapped up. I think Jerry locked them in a closet or something along those likes in the previous adventure. Not to go the right way because of the radigator, the radiated crocodile alligator creature or whatever. You learned of that, so you got to go on the other side. You do have to deal with that quicksand, but for the sake of streamlining, we'll say it's much easier this time. There's some debris in there. I think you guys pushed a whole golf cart in there at one point to get across that was sinking, and you're able to do kind of similar. Pull out some of those carts that were jammed up in that center hallway from where it once flooded and forced all that stuff into there. You jam some more out, toss them in, get to the control room, and you're back to the control room. You're in here. It's a bit stagnant. It's a bit mildewy smell. Everything's covered in dust, just as you left it before. But you do see the spot where you can slide in the circuit board. You can see the two key launch jacks where you can launch it when you're ready, and we can streamline if you want. Getting in the circuit board, getting everything ready to launch. We can streamline to the next afternoon. We'll say you get it all up and running, get a little sleep with the team, a little midnight snack. Everyone kind of settles in. It's a little hard to sleep with the anticipation of all this, but yeah, streamline to the next afternoon. You're back down there, back in the control room, and it's about that time. The troops are all around the border, just kind of waiting to see this thing launch. And I think we're down to Sprocket's science check. So let's just do a general science check. It's going to be a difficulty of 1. So if there was ever a time to lose the last of any action points, anything that you might have, any negative 2s, this would definitely be the time. Not to meta too much, but this is kind of the climactic process of the missile launch,
Yeah, I don't know how many negative 2s we have, but probably like at least 6. And we got 3
5 or 6.
action points.
6 sounds about right.
So
I think we
got
got a whole of
10.
10.
So should we drop a couple of extra dice on this just to be careful, and then
6,
Yeah,
I'll take it
so
up to 4.
7.
you can use the last 3 action points. That'll give you 2 more dice.
Cool. So that'll give me 4. If we put a couple of, we've got enough -2s to put 1 -2 across the board.
We have 3 of them right now.
3.
Nice.
3 minus 2.
Might as well drop those in there as well then, shall we? Okay, let's roll it.
Oh shit! Drum roll. Here we go. Nice. Killed.
Whoa.
There's a complication.
And a complication. Oh, nice.
Oh, we got
You
4
want to use a
successes.
minus 2 on those.
Well,
Oh,
minus
yeah.
2 would take the complication off.
And that's...
But,
when you're dealing with nukes, I feel like...
I feel like that's right.
Probably.
Yeah.
Like, if there's ever a time to not have a complication, this is the one.
Yeah, I can feel
got
that.
it.
I think if there's any good complications we can get on there that's not too horrific.
Yeah, no, I would. Yeah, you can use the -2, get rid of that complication, because otherwise, yeah, that might be a little bit sticky. I have something in mind, but you did use the -2s. I think that you're lucky that you have them. Thanks to chat for rewarding so many. You overkilled this with success. You got rid of that complication. And yeah, the rest of you see Sprocket kind of just working the controls, getting into the computer. You see things powering up. He rocks the 2 keys with, 2 hands, and another torch just kind of presses in the launch button, and you see this rumble sort of happen from the control room. You can see on the screen the rocket sort of going through process. And you just feel the rumble. Everyone outside, basically, you hear like a sort of cheering and a yelling coming from the cult community. As you see all the guards on the edges of the walls kind of cheering and raising their weapons as this rocket comes out from the big sort of Epcot golf ball looking circular thing that opens up, and you see this rocket kind of raising up in the center and then set off as all this plumage of smoke and fire blasts out from around this sort of what was once a ride. But this rocket just tears off into the sky, starts heading off towards the east. Couple minutes later, it disappears into the horizon. There's some of the cheering and excitement from the community kind of gets silent. Everyone was cheering and excited about this launch. But after a couple minutes, it's like people, kind of get quiet, catching their breath. They've been cheering for a couple minutes, and it just kind of hits this eerie moment of silence where the rocket disappears on the horizon. And then you basically feel this sort of rumble almost before you hear it. And then comes the big sound of this explosion in the distance that almost seems to set off like a series of explosions off in the distance, almost as if like where this nuke hit, it erupts into the base, setting off other components, maybe things that were dealing with clean wave, maybe the chemical itself, maybe some of the equipment and battle vehicles that are involved in this battle, whether Enclave or Brotherhood of Steel. Either way, you feel that rumble, followed by a series of huge explosions, and then you see the sky light up even beyond what the sun's lighting at the moment in the horizon, and then you see a huge mushroom cloud of smoke kind of come up with other little plumages of smoke coming out from the horizon, and a sort of ongoing rumble takes place for a few minutes as this smoke just starts billowing up into the sky, and then all of a sudden, you hear all the cheering again from the community and everyone in here. Let me see if I can find a decent one here. I know we've got some in Sirenscape, but everyone kind of gathers around, and yeah, you hear all the troops and security kind of cheering and yelling like that as the community's coming together and just celebrating. You hear a little bit of music start up as some of the community survivalists sit there kind of rocking some instruments, and people start dancing. Like, you can tell it's a bit of a celebratory moment. The rocket was a success, and you hear the explosions in the distance, but I'll let you three kind of take it from there and discuss things as you get surface side in the community to witness all this.
Well, looks like our concerns about the blast radius were unfounded. We're still here.
Yeah. How's that for luck?
I am definitely not complaining.
How you feeling, Yasuke? You're a little quiet there.
The task is not done.
You mean we still got some Brotherhood to take care of?
That is what I must do. I have no purpose further.
Well, perhaps we should be making sure that we hit the target and seeing how many, did we manage to wipe the launch pad out? Did we manage to take the Enclave and the Brotherhood out? We should see if we can check this place out, see what the impact will be.
Though that is not something that you necessarily must do. You have established freedom in sorts. The raiders of the kings will be scattered. The Brotherhood shall be trying to recover.
What little is left of them, perhaps. Did it look like there were many left behind in Miami, or it looked like most of them come north?
A majority went north, yeah. When you were flying out, you could notice, a handful of troops just kind of still at the border, but with the Northside Kings dispersing, they didn't need to leave much back at all.
Well, who knows? Perhaps folks living outside of outside of South Miami that the Brotherhood had so segregated off might be able to take a little control and seize their own destiny a little bit more now. I can but hope.
Yeah, what would for the sake of epic storylines, right, for the characters, like you have accomplished this bomb thing. It sounds like you kind of want to go check out the site, make sure that it was a success, took out the launch pad and Clean Wave, Enclave, Brotherhood of Steel. But it also sounds like there's concerns of the Brotherhood that were left in Miami, and seeing that like the rest of the community was able to get back control over Miami. Maybe some segregated outsiders saw a moment of opportunity for that, right? Sounds like Yasuke might want to check on that. It sounds like it sounds like there's a couple things. You might want to check on the site of destruction, right? You might want to check on Miami. Yasuke is suggesting maybe it's something he'll worry about, and you two can enjoy the community and bringing the freedom up here to Central Florida. But it sounds like you have some options. What do you think you three would do? How would you guys handle this?
I might introduce the community of ghouls and super mutants to the vault that we liberated, to either get them trading with each other or even give the community, like a larger number of people potentially to be able to defend themselves.
Hell yeah. What else? What is everybody else thinking? What would Yasuke do? It sounds like, since he kind of broke code, but then, saw forth this plan of freedom that now seems to have a success. What would he want to do? Would he want to check on the launch pad, making sure that was a success? Would he want to make sure that Miami was resecured? Or would he kind of wander off now that this has kind of been finished? What would Yasuke be thinking?
Since Yasuke has accomplished the task as a Ronin and not as a samurai, his honor is officially broken and irredeemable. At some point during any activity, Yasuke would leave the party, kind of like in the night, away from the celebration, taking with him only his blade and his armor, leaves behind all his caps and everything else, but does leave behind a symbol carved on, like, wherever he was, of that rail sign, that 8-point thing with the symbol of ally in the middle, and will adorn himself in clothes that only show the form of like fully black gear, black fabric with a mark of the rail sign, going around at any time the Brotherhood shows up, Enclave, or raiders that are doing ill intention, and slaughters indiscriminately, like has gone full Ronin, and anyone who does bad is hunted and destroyed,
Nice.
and always leaves the leader with their head on a pike.
Do you think he would want to pursue checking in on Miami like you suggested before, or would he leave from the House of Mouse just to wander Florida in general, or would he check up on any of these past things? What do you think?
Yasuke has no ties anymore. The act of a Ronin means he can't go to anywhere that's familiar because he's not allowed to. So he wouldn't check up on it unless the rail sign Ronin is called, surrendering his identity as Yasuke and becoming nothing but this symbol.
Nice. What do you think, aside from trying to connect the vault to House of Mouse, which I love the idea, Jerry thinking of that, are there any other things? What do you think Jerry and Sprocket would do? Because I already have an idea in mind. I'm taking all these sort of thoughts of your characters and stuff to put together this sort of description of how I feel this kind of would play out for an ending. But what do you think Sprocket would do? One, what do you think Sprocket would do in general, right? Just like how Jerry said, he kind of would want to connect House of Mouse to that vault you guys helped, and maybe they could have like a little dual community connection there. Is there any other type of thing that you can think of? And then also, where do you think you would end up? It sounds like, Jerry and Sprocket are still friendly in a team. Yasuke would disappear in the middle of the night, but yeah, tell me a little bit about Sprocket's thoughts here.
I think in a sense Sprocket's, I don't want to say so much at a loose end as he's kind of free to go anywhere and do anything, probably doesn't have a huge amount of direction. His one thing was that last instruction he was given, and that was resolved with discovering his owner's death way early on. So with everything that they've been focusing on, he's kind of just now left to live a life in the wasteland. So we did get some extra parts, so he might be able to get that old car running, possibly get it on the road. So, and obviously, if Yasuke just wandered off, he's enjoyed his time exploring and getting to know the wasteland with Jerry. Definitely happy to have made a good friend there, had a good laugh, and feels like he's done some pretty good things, consistent with his programmed idea of generally good over bad. And I was thinking possibly if they could get that running, maybe, depending on how Jerry feels on the idea, maybe they start making a slow and steady journey north. Because, I don't know, Jerry wants to seek out Nuka World eventually. Because the pair can sort of set off into the sunset and see what happens on the way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that idea. So how I would picture it, I love this. I think, the missile would be a success as we described. I think there'd be some celebrating that night. Maybe you'd pick up a little bit on Yasuke being a little bit not himself, ever since even from prior to that, when he kind of took on this Ronin sort of mission, right? And you can tell it's a little off, but he's still with it. But now that the mission is completed, you celebrate, you get some sleep, only to wake up to see, you discussed, hey, when we wake up, let's trek over to the launch pad and just get some visuals on this, make sure it all worked out, just see what's up, and then maybe head south. Jerry suggests maybe we can stop by the vault, let them know what we've been able to do, and that we can introduce them to House of Mouse and vice versa. But when you wake up in the morning to go check on the launch pad, that's when you notice Yasuke is gone. It was in the middle of that first night. He didn't waste any fucking time. Like you said, what's left are some caps, some symbolism. That's about it. That is absolutely about it. And you get a definite feeling that he has evolved into a new sort of state of being. But there's nothing you can do about that. So you carry on. You make your way over. Parting ways with House of Mouse. They're obviously grateful. You always have a home here, they say. But you make your way over to the launch pad just to see absolute destruction. That whole coast side of Florida is leveled almost into a crater, but there's multiples from a series of explosions that have trailed off from this. But the one major crater seems to be almost spider-webbed with black, and it reminds you of that sort of scorched, clean wave Central Florida earth that you saw prior many sessions ago. It looks like when this bomb went off, it just blasted that out in the area. And everything is scorched. You can see some remnants of vertibirds and vehicles and the occasional power armor section or such, but everything is just devastated. It worked. It worked. Everything is destroyed out here, and the blast goes beyond that camp. So it almost reaches into some of that wasteland that you had to travel half a day just to get to Disney. So it took out everything. But then aside from that, you make your way south. Takes you a bit of time because you had to travel there, then traveling south, takes you a couple days. But you make your way down, dealing with some encounters here and there, just typical wasteland traveling. But you make your way to the vault. You're able to get some rest, reconnect with that little community of ghouls and little Billy, and kind of let them know what's happening. They're excited at any time, you have a home welcome here, and there's another community at Disney, and let them know if they travel down here, they have a vault to stay at, and vice versa. The House of Mouse welcomes them into their community, and now there is a connection there between the vault and Disney World. There's this sort of House of Mouse vault community combination. Maybe a name will come for that community in the future as some of this lore trails over into future gameplay, but for now, yeah, they've partnered up, and you were able to spend some time there, and then kind of venture out. Sprocket mentions, hey, why don't we go check on the vehicle, and reminds of the part sort of situation. And as you make your way over to the shop, a couple things. You run into some Wastelanders and some travelers from Miami. And they go on to tell you what happened in Miami when Brotherhood of Steel left, and how there was a big battle of freedom, and Brotherhood was basically maintaining their little homestead abandoned air base thing where they started in South Miami, but they were reduced to such numbers that Miami was able to kind of liberate itself with the segregated community in South Miami to the north. And it's back established, and they were excited to learn, like, oh my God, and you're the ones that helped that happen. And they go on to talk about this lore that's been going around in the past couple weeks of this ghoul super mutant samurai and bot that helped free Miami and pin Brotherhood on Enclave and took them out with a missile, and like word's already traveling that fast. But then aside from that, the other sort of lore that comes about is there's been this mysterious sort of Ronin super mutant traveling South Florida, and apparently he's killed off the last of Brotherhood of Steel that tried to travel in to help the remaining in South Miami. And he's kind of been a one-man force, a one mutant force, keeping future resupplies of Brotherhood of Steel and things like that from coming back into Miami. Now, that's not to say that when Brotherhood of Steel, the elder of Paladin Horatio Reyes, comes in with all forces, it might be a different story. But for now, at least for the past couple weeks since this has gone down, it seems like you're hearing rumors of this sort of Ronin super mutant traveling around the Miami areas, South Florida areas, and just kind of taking out remnants of people that would want to kind of control others or bring in that sort of mentality again. So that was kind of nice of you to hear, because Yasuke disappeared in the middle of the night, and now both of you can kind of assume he's out there wandering the wastelands kind of as this secret superhero, super mutant sort of thing. But aside from that, yeah, you get back to Sprocket's shop after running into some of these Wastelanders and people from Miami. You're able to get the car going. You get the parts that you need. You were able to get back to that shop where you found the circuit board and met up with the Wastelanders to head north to escort them. And you get back to the shop to kind of dig through parts now for the vehicle and get back to that original plan that kind of got you all started. And you found the parts. You get back to the vehicle, and it doesn't take Sprocket long at all. He gets the car fixed up instantly. Just takes a little bit of tender love and care to kind of get it polished up and ready to actually be functional. The last little piece of missing item that you don't have is fuel. You don't have old school fuel for this vehicle, but it pops into your mind like Paladin Horatio Reyes was going to hook us up with one of three things, weapons, armor, or fuel. Maybe some of that shit's still in Miami. And I would assume that the team would be smart enough to kind of think of that and maybe dig through Miami, maybe find some fuel, whether they find some in North Miami from old Northside Kings Richter's stash or some Brotherhood of Steel stash, that maybe they find some reserves in that base. But I'd like to say that the team does find fuel and get back to the vehicle. And now maybe another week has passed, through all of this, beyond the week and a half or so that prior to that. But now, almost a full month has now passed where You're back in, you have the vehicle, it's running, it's fueled. You know, rumors of Yasuke traveling as some protected Ronin of Florida or something, possibly. And the car starts up as you get out onto the main road and start heading north. And let's end the campaign right there with you driving off into the horizon. Unless there's any other fun tidbits of things you want to add to that, I'm down with that. But I think that covers the majority of the big plans. Does that sound good with everyone?
Yeah. Kind of wondering if it's is it a car or is it a pickup truck or something like that? Because if it's a pickup, we're good. Sprocket can hop in the back. Jerry can drive. If it's a car, we might have to take a seat out.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's going to have a hard time fitting in there.
Yeah, why don't we roll for that? Because I like both ideas. I could see Sprocket in the back of a truck. I could also see you ripping out and customizing half the passenger seat is not there. It's just this big open space where a bot can fit, Let's do some kind of roll for that.
Stalk out the window.
Yeah, since this isn't, this shouldn't be a difficulty situation because it can go either or. Why don't you tell me which is even, which is odd, and then roll, a d20 and see what it lands on.
Let's go for evens is the pickup truck, shall we?
Okay, if it's even, it's a pickup truck. So, Sprocket, roll that d20 and let's see.
Here we go. It's odd.
Odd. All right. So it's a vehicle, and you have to rip out the seat and kind of customize the passenger seat so you can fit. Aside from that, just for fun, what kind of car is it? Let's describe the look and stuff just for fun. Anybody?
El Camino.
Ooh, I like that. I like Raven in chat. A familiar Raven says, "Make it a convertible." That helps with Sprocket being able to fit too. I'm open for whatever. What do you guys want it to be? How do you want it to look?
I kind of like the idea that he kind of just drops himself down into where the seat was and then just winds down the window and then sticks an eye stalk out like a dog.
I like that too. I like that a lot.
It's just sticking out the window.
It's a gremlin, Cold Spider says. No. No, I love it. I love it. Let's go with that. You rip out the seat and you're able to kind of drop in, put down the window with one of the eyes stalks poking out as Jerry drives off into the distance. And yeah, you ride off into the distance as there's stories and rumors of this sort of Ronin super mutant protecting the wastelands of Florida. Awesome. Let's end the campaign right there. Let's put a cap on it right there at session 9. Awesome. All right. Thanks so much for being part of the campaign. It was great creating the stories. And Jay, especially jumping in. I know you came in as a new player kind of in the middle of everything, and we restarted at session 0 and relaunched all the Florida stuff. And you jumped right in, and it was awesome to have Yasuke as part of it. I thought it was such a great character and such good role play. And I love how you leaned into it, too, even when it was some decisions that maybe weren't as I don't know, positive or good for the team or whatever, like, it would make more sense, let's do this is better, but it makes more sense that Yasuke would do this because of these reasons. And I love that you do that you lean into the role play. It was a lot of fun.
It was delightful. I like the idea that Yasuke was ultimately being like, look, I hear what you guys are saying, but from the first decision, we don't rob from the dead. They were like, but there's gear right there.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah, no, I forgot about that aspect of it too. It was so good. And then I like it ending with him kind of, going the Ronin route because of breaking his code and kind of just leaning into that, being a Ronin, not revisiting, but rumors of the super mutant, in the areas around Miami and South Florida, just kind of protecting the area for potential Brotherhood of Steel or Enclave coming back, any raiders trying to resegregate or gain control. I love that. I love the idea of these rumors and stuff. And then Jerry and Sprocket through connecting the cult to the vault and getting the car going and dealing with all that for a couple weeks, and then along the way running into people from Miami talking about these rumors of this super Ronin super mutant protecting it. I think that would be really nice, at Jerry and Sprocket as in character. I think that would be nice to you don't know whatever happened to Yasuke, and then weeks later you hear these rumors of this happening, and be like, oh shit, that's really cool. I don't know, I like that.
Well, there's somewhere.
Awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
I would watch the crap out of that show. It's like the Incredible Hulk, but with a super mutant going from town to town.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I love it. Awesome. Well, thanks so much, chat, for being part of it. All those -2s and stuff helping along the way. I mean, it absolutely saved the day. It got us out of that complication too, which could have been a bit sticky with the missile launch. So again, thanks so much, chat, for being part of this story. I really love that shit. Not just the -2s and redeeming points, but even just contributing ideas and just, being present during the show and stuff. It makes it so much more fun. Like we love playing this, but it's so much more fun when you guys are tuning in and you're part of the story and they're in chat and stuff. It's so cool. So thank you guys so much. And again, thanks to my players for being part of the story, contributing and making it what it is. And yeah, this is the last one of Team Wasteland, but that's not to say it's going to be the end of Fallout 2D20 or some of the players and things in the future. We'll see what happens. But yeah, we'll end it there. Thanks so much. See you soon.
Cybernation Uncensored.